In this lesson, I am going to write a paragraph about a theme using Malelic to guide my organization. Before I start my theme paragraph, let's take a close look at the organization. The M is the main idea, which will be the theme I will be proving and explaining throughout the paragraph. The E will give me the opportunity to elaborate on the main idea. The L is a link to a source that I can use to prove the main idea. For a theme paragraph, I will need to use a quote or paraphrase from a piece of literature. The E is the explanation of how the link proves the main idea. The second L is a link to a source that I can use to prove the main idea. For a theme paragraph, the second link can come from the same piece of literature that was used for the first link. This link can also come from a second piece of literature or a critical source. The second E is the explanation of how the second link proves the main idea. And the C is a closing thought about the main idea. For this example, I will be using Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart in order to examine the theme of empathy. The first step is to come up with a specific idea about empathy. A person who lacks empathy can destroy the lives of others. The next step is to elaborate on the main idea. Many people create an isolated world for themselves and in the process never learn that other people have feelings. The narrator in Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart is an example of what can happen when a person lacks the ability to empathize with others. At this point, I have the M and the E, which elaborates on the main idea. The next step is to come up with a link. While reading the story, I took note of this passage on page 189, and I think it will work well for my paragraph. In Poe's story, the narrator states, "It was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye." The explanation is my opportunity to offer my interpretation of the link and use that interpretation to prove the main idea. The narrator only sees the old man's eye and makes no effort to consider his victim's thoughts, feelings, or his life. So here is the L. Here is the explanation of that link. And together, they prove the main idea. Now, I need to go back to the story and find my second link. Here is the passage on page 191 that will work well for that second link. Just prior to the murder, the narrator shines his lantern on his victim's eye and says he could see nothing else of the old man's face or person. Like the previous E, this is my opportunity to offer my interpretation of the link and use that interpretation to prove the main idea. Even after 8 days of plotting the murder, the narrator still never gave himself the opportunity to empathize with the old man. A simple thought about the pain, emotional and physical, his decision would bring upon another person would have prevented the outcome of this tragic story, the death of an innocent human being. Here is the second L. Here is the explanation of that link. And together, they prove the main idea. The C is the opportunity to provide a strong closing thought about the main idea. The world is filled with people who hurt others due to their lack of ability or effort to empathize. It would be wonderful to live in a world of people who create and protect life rather than destroy it, and empathy is the key to making that new world a reality. So here is our C, which is a closing thought about our main idea. Here's a look at how I used Malelic to organize this paragraph. The E is an elaboration of the main idea. The first L and E work together to prove the main idea. The second L and E work together to prove the main idea. And the C is a final thought about the main idea. Before I end this lesson, I want to say that Malelic is a great tool that can help a writer organize their thoughts, but it will not magically write your paragraph for you. You need to put effort into reading first. Here is a glimpse of the notes I took while I was reading the story. And here you can see the effort I put into my rough draft. Because of the effort I put into the entire process, I have a paragraph that I am proud to share with you today. Thanks for taking the time to watch and listen to this lesson on how to write a theme paragraph using Malelic. As you are reading literature, be on the lookout for themes that you can prove. When you find them, use Malelic as your guide to explain and prove those themes. Good luck.